Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stepsbasic, and welcome back to my community show. That's not what's important. What's important is today's topic. Today we're going to be addressing something that I have been literally collecting information on for the last month. You know, in life, we live our lives, we go through every day, and we pick up things, lessons and whatnot that we're not even really technically cognizant of. They just kind of happen, and we realize, oh yeah, that's pretty important, I should remember that. And then we apply these things to our lives, life lessons, as it were, things that we learn by living. And yes, that is today's topic. Oh, for Christ's sake, where is it? Oh, there it is. I wanted to do a life lessons, tips for life, things that I've learned throughout my 36 years this month. 36 years this month. Things that I've learned through my 36 years of being alive. And it's funny because it's one of those things that you never really think about. Like I said, you learn these lessons and then you apply them to your life, and then you just don't realize that, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then you just don't think about them ever again because you just keep doing them and they become second nature, as it were. And I wanted to address this. I've got 8. I wanted to get 10, but like I said, I don't think about them. And if I come up with any more of them, then I might make a second video. And of course, if y'all want to add any more in the comment section, you're more than welcome to. But anyway, so first of all, let's start our 8 list. Our list of 8. Our 8ical? No, whatever. Anyway, so first of all, number 1, learn small engine and appliance repair. I know that sounds silly because it's a skill, it's a job and whatnot, and most people don't really think about it. But you'll be surprised at just how much money you can save if you learn how to repair your small appliances and engines. Things like your lawn mowers, your microwaves, although I'll kind of that gets a little bit more technical, but then toasters, blenders, vacuum cleaners, all these little small engines and small appliances that we use in our daily lives that we don't know how to fix them. And I would recommend highly learning how to fix them. Like, I don't know how to fix all of my appliances, obviously. Again, going back to the microwave with the whole, it gets a little more technical because, got the computers and whatnot. But I can fix my lawnmower, I can fix my vacuum cleaner, and I can fix... Well, actually, that's kind of about it. I don't really have a whole lot of appliances in the house that I can't fix. Refrigerator. I can fix my refrigerator. Well, for the most part. Like, if it's running low on Freon or whatever, I can't fix it because, well... Yeah, but I can fix it. I can fix a motor. I can defrost it and whatnot, and that's all the fun stuff. So it's kind of an important life lesson that a lot of us don't think about. Learn to fix these things. That way, you're not spending money to either replace or pay somebody else to repair them. The same thing can be said for first aid. Now, of course, I'm not saying learn how to set a broken bone and stitch everything, because that requires a little bit more technical know-how. But minor first aid things like bandages and how to wrap things and all that fun stuff. It kind of goes along the same lines because you yourself are a small appliance and or motor. You're a robot. But anyway, so for that one is a good money-saving tool. But the next one is a social skills one. Learn a good joke. Not an offensive joke. Not one that's going to upset anybody's feelings. Just one simple, funny joke. Use it. That is an important one. A lot of people don't think about, how people react to jokes. And of course, obviously, humor is subjective, and my go-to jokes tend to be stupid dad jokes and puns and stuff. But generally, if I'm first meeting somebody and I give them one of my puns, they're going to be laughing. Not a lot, obviously, but, it's just something to kind of break the ice, which helps you get in there and makes everyone more comfortable around each other. Jokes are the doorway to fun relationships. One thing that I stress a lot and have taught to my daughter and I've taught to some of my friends is remember that other people have problems too. And just because you're having a bad day does not mean that you can take it out on them. Your bad day is not anybody else's responsibility. The only people you should get mad at are maybe yourself and the person who directly caused the problem. Not people who are trying to help you, not people who are offering advice. And yes, I acknowledge the fact that sometimes it can be a little tiring when other people are offering suggestions or help and you cannot take their advice or whatnot, but lashing out at them for trying to do a good thing for you is not an okay thing to do. So it's always important to remember that people who are trying to help you are not being nefarious, and other people are having bad days too, and that does not mean that you can take your bad day out on them. It's not their fault, as it were. Blame lies where blame lies. Not on your friends, not on your family, unless they are directly responsible. Now this one's a trickier one that it's a little more difficult to explain, but the idea of paying yourself first. Now this of course can apply financially, but also mental health wise. See, we all have an outstanding balance, what we owe, both mentally and financially. And paying yourself first is an important thing. Now, of course, that means taking the money that you have and paying it towards your debt before you try to pay somebody else. Arguably, that means you are paying somebody else, but you're paying down your debt, because once your debt is clear, then you'll have more money or financial or mental stability to help spread around. Now, of course, when it comes to mentality, it's a little more difficult because brains don't just fix. But it also goes a little further to understanding that if you've been through something, then you know how to help. And the same way, when you have cleared your debt, then you have more money to pass around. And when you've helped your own mind, then you have more mental capacity, more space in your brain to help other people. See what I mean? I might make a video solely dedicated to this topic because it is a fairly in-depth one and a fairly interesting idea, as it were. So I might make a fully dedicated video just to that one. Next one is a no-brainer, and people don't even realize when they think about it, but workout. Workout. Physically engage your body from time to time. And there's always the arguments, and there's always the truth behind said arguments, that time is a factor, and it's really hard to find the time. But when I say workout, I'm not telling you to completely change your physicality. I'm not telling you to completely aim for the unattainable. In fact, when I tell people to work out, my first thing that I say is to work out for your body type. Me, I'm 6'2", weigh close to 300 pounds. I'm not going to be a skinny mini. There is no way I'm going to turn myself into a track star. At best, I will be a wrestler. At close, like the strongest, I could be a bodybuilder. If I wanted to be, so to speak, because it does take a bit more than just physicality to it, and I'm not really a competitive type person, so it kind of would inhibit my ability to do that. But then you get the people, when you hear them, when they hear workout, they think you mean something along the lines of turning their body into a temple for physical prowess. No. Keep yourself healthy, because it is a heck of a lot easier to maintain your body than it is to improve your body or to reclaim your body. As a person who is a little bit chonky, when I was in the Navy, it was a lot easier for me because I was young. I kept up my workouts, but then I failed, and then I got out, and then I massively fell off the wagon, and my whole body just kind of went to pot. And I got up to 300 pounds at one point, and I've worked on getting it down and whatnot. But trust me when I say it's a lot easier to maintain your body than it is to try to reclaim it after you've let it go downhill. That being said, if you want to work out and aim for those really high marks, like if you want to be a person like me who tries to shrink down into a skinny mini type, then go for it, but be careful. But for the rest of us, for us normies or our normal people here, 15-20 minutes a day of a walk, of a little weight training, just a bicycle ride, something like that, just to keep your body moving. And you know what? And of course, you know, there is the calorie deficit. If you're aiming to lose weight, then burn more calories than you bring in. So you also have to watch your diet, which is tied into. In other words, take care of your body. You've only got one. Don't break it. Another no-brainer. Don't do drugs. Now, admission time, I smoke. And I have been working on trying to quit for the last decade. And I have failed every single time. And when I say don't do drugs, I mean that. Don't vape. Don't smoke cigarettes. Don't drink alcohol. Especially if you don't know your impulse control ability. If you do not know how to control yourself, if you don't know willpower, then especially don't start these things, because you will never be able to finish. And of course, there is, of course, the financial aspect of it. If you don't do these things, you don't have to spend money on these things. But also there's the health aspect, the more obvious aspect of don't break your body. And drugs, alcohol, etc. are not good for you. Even caffeine, which I love and will drink to the day I die, even caffeine isn't good for you. So don't start them if you don't have to. And of course, when it comes to most of these, you don't have to. Now this one's a little weird and also probably a little bit more difficult, but learn to let go. Because life is going to be full of so many disappointments, so much tragedy, so much pain, and we're going to keep getting ourselves bogged down in the minutia of it all. And we're going to keep letting these things drag on our brains and whatnot, and they're going to keep bringing us down. But you got to learn to let go. And of course, this lesson comes with age. But sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes you got to learn that things that happen are not important. Now, nobody's perfect. Myself included. I have like this one thing that just bugs the heck out of me. Like every once in a while it just pops up in my brain. But this is a perfect example of learning to let things go and things that you should learn to let go. When I was playing World of Warcraft one time with my friends, and there was this guy in Stormwind chatting away and just correcting everyone's grammar every time they said something. You know the type. They exist and they are freaking annoying. And so he slipped up once, and I called him on it. Because I hate people like that. So I called him out on his grammar mistake. It was the plural singular connection. So if the verb is, or the noun is plural, then the verb is singular, if you know what I mean. Like the man runs, the men run, as it were. That sort of thing. You know what? I don't actually know what the rule's called, but that sort of connection. And I called him out on it. And he got upset and said, "That's BS. You're lying. You're stupid." And I'm like, "That's your right." I said, "That's your right. Your right to contradict me and say that that's BS. You can speak however you want to speak." That's what I was saying to him. Immediately after I said that, everybody was changing my message from your, Y-O-U-R, to you are, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. I'm like, "No, you idiots, not that one. It is your possessive. You own the right, not you are right." Because he wasn't right. He was wrong. And it is not you are right. Every once in a while, this stupid interaction just pops up in my brain every now and again. I'm like, And I'm working on letting it go. I'm getting better at whenever it pops up. I'm just like, shut up. Just push it out of my mind. And of course, like I said, this sort of thing does get easier with age. You learn it and you move on, and you're able to, things just happen and you ignore them. It works, but the quicker you can learn this, the better your life will be. It's a weird topic, but learn to let things go. Now, the last one. Now, this one applies to all the naysayers who get mad at people who love Halloween, and they're like, "Oh, you're just a fake horror fan. The only time you care about horror is on Halloween." The people who poop all over Valentine's Day, saying, "Oh, you should love them every day of the year." The people who don't like birthdays, don't like celebrations, stuff like that. The people who complain about these things, they are wrong. And here's why. You need to make things special. For example, my daughter and I, every Saturday of the month, we go to McDonald's for our, what we call daddy-daughter date day. Now, McDonald's is a cheap, affordable fast food restaurant. We go there for breakfast on Saturdays, every Saturday. We've missed a few, but for the most part, every Saturday. Every once in a while, we go to Waffle House. I cannot afford to go to Waffle House every Saturday because Waffle House is a little bit more expensive than McDonald's, but those are special times. Waffle House is not a special restaurant. It's not spectacular. The food is, it's tasty, but you can get better elsewhere or, from your own home. But it's special. And just like Halloween is special, just like when I do Spooktober, it's special. I am a huge fan of all things horror. But if I were to engage in horror every day, would it be as entertaining? Would it be as exciting? Would it be as fun? Probably not. So when I save it all up for the month of October, it's special. Valentine's Day is not a day to express all of your love all at once. No. It's one day that should be special between two people who love each other. Or, if you're into multiple partners, that too. But it should be a day. It should be special. Just because it's one day to express your love more openly does not mean that you do not express your love throughout the year. It just means that you're making this day special because it's Valentine's Day. And of course, the argument can be put forward that it's just a Hallmark holiday. People just made it up so that they could sell greeting cards and whatnot. But that doesn't matter. Because I personally have not bought a greeting card for Valentine's Day since I was young. Because at the end of the day, that's not what's important. What's important is making the day special for your significant other. So make things special. Even if it's something small, insignificant to other people, to you, it should be important. And it should be something that you look forward to. Like, oh my God, I cannot wait for Saturday to get here because I get to go to my favorite coffee shop and get my favorite cup of coffee. Or, fruity drink. Because I literally just told you not to engage in drugs. But you know what? Sometimes we slip. But if it's special, it's better, right? But anyway, those are my 8 tips for you. And let me know again, like I said, if you have any that you might suggest or add to. Because I probably have a dozen more, but cannot think of them right off the top of my head until they actually come up in conversation. I just don't think about them because I just apply them to my life and keep moving forward. But anyway, apart from that, into the announcements for this week, I am going to be changing up my schedule coming the next week. Instead of 2 and 4, I'm going to be uploading at 3 and 5. So it's the same increment of time, but 1 hour later. Now, funny part is we did just hit daylight savings time, so things are going to be a little bit. It's not really going to affect too much for folks who don't celebrate daylight savings time. It's still going to be coming at the same hour. Yeah, we need to get rid of daylight savings time. It sucks. But anyway, apart from that, I'm trying not to move this to Sundays. This video series to Sundays because I like it better on Saturdays, so I can have Sunday completely off. But I've been having trouble actually recording and editing this video for Sundays or for Saturdays, but I want to try to get back to that. Apart from that, we are almost done with Borderlands 2. We're going to not do the Assault on Sanctuary, and instead we're going to do a pre-sequel, and then we're going to come back and do the Assault on Sanctuary before we do Borderlands 3. I'm going to be finishing up The Observer, kind of wrapping up Spooktober, because I, failed on that. But we're going to work on the end of that, and then we should be completely back to normal schedule. After The Observer is done, I will start working on other things like the demos, etc. But apart from all that, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you all so much for joining me for this community show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, poke that like button for me. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And when I can, if I can, you know all that jazz. And tune in next time for more topics at another time. And until then, good night.